access to the grave family. If we learned anything, it's getting crazy. My pop raised different, how we raised family.
You finna have to shoot a real game jumper, bro. I'm finna make this shit all net right here, nigga. Real game jumper, nigga.
It seemed like we were heading here and it was just a matter of time and a matter of what Damian Lillard wanted to do.
One thing I'm gonna do is face the music. I'ma stand tall in whatever the situation is.
I thank God, I know we are blessed. Can't let them RP me to death.
You know, then they start calling me in the office. They like, are you ready to be a leader? You know, like you ready to be the head of a franchise? And like, they ask me these questions and I'm looking around in the office like, I ain't never even been in this office. Like, but it's just like, the business is like that. It changed fast. Because it's just the way I think, I felt like we still gonna make the playoffs. Like, you know, even from my experience in college, I just knew how to be a part of a culture that wins, you know, that works for everybody. That year was fun, you know what I mean? It was like my first time being out front, like I said, and I went into it like, man, I'm gonna test it to see if I can really be one of these like top dogs, you know, like if I can really be the head of the snake.
Can't hustle backwards, my foot forward, the best ones. Bought the Lambo, ain't even give it a text run. They look the part, I fit the part, my confessions. Learn my lessons, crazy hours, build as last ones. Travel private in large groups, no entourage. Long way from pimping, grinding, and homicides. I play the cut cause the cloth a nigga was cut from. Millionaire, but all my niggas are
The 18 season was I didn't need to be humbled, but it's a great lesson in why you need to always be humble, because it was the high of highs for me, like in my career, and it ended at the lowest of lows. So it's like it was a lesson in it to just always be humble, you know what I mean? Never get ahead of yourself and expect things to go a certain way. Just stay present and just do what you do. Because that season, you know, once we started to have so much success, we was like, man, we could win it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got my third All-Star game. It was in LA. Our team was winning a lot of games. I was first team All-NBA, the only time in my career. It was shaping up to where I was like, damn, I might really get some consideration for MVP. Like, we could make a real run. You know, we get a 3 seed, we draw New Orleans in the first round. We lost the first 2 games at home. And I just remember going to New Orleans like, they didn't even play great. And they still beat us both games at home. Like, we gotta win game 3. Like, game 3 and game 4 in New Orleans is just kind of a blur. Like, that's how I know it was just like bad, because I only remember like 2 different moments. Like, I remember CJ got a flagrant foul. He fouled the shit out of Etwan Moore. And, you know, a couple of their players walked up and was like, hey, CJ, come on, CJ. Like, you know what? That's a dirty play. And CJ was like, y'all want to see a dirty play? I'll show y'all motherfuckers a dirty play. Like, this is after he fouled the dude. He was like, that ain't no dirty play. If y'all want to see one, I'll show y'all. Get to game 4. The game is basically over. It's like 3 minutes left. We getting blew out. Drew Holiday killing, AD dunking on us. Like, the crowd is yelling. It felt like the building was like falling in on us. It was like embarrassing. We was getting beat. I knew I was finna get killed, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't play well the whole series. We got swept as a 3 seed. It was like, I finally got, you know, the credit and the respect, and then this happened. So it was like, then my Achilles was like, at the end of the game, I strained my Achilles, and I was like, damn, like, you gotta be able to identify these moments where you have the opportunity to either throw somebody under the bus or make an excuse or point the finger, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta recognize those moments where these things come up, because when you have success, like when it becomes your moment, or when, you know, something is in your favor, you gotta think of those moments when you're in these moments. So for me, I literally was on a podium and I was thinking to myself, when I'm on the other side of this, I want to represent myself right now the way I want people to, you know, when they cheering for me, if I'm, you know, in the finals, or if I win everything, I want them to be able to respect that moment partially because of how they saw me in this moment. You know what I'm saying?
They played a great series. You got to give credit to them for how well they executed offensively, and they came in with a great defensive game plan. For me, the same thing remains. I'm gonna go back to work and I'm gonna do my part. You know, everybody has a job to do, and I gotta focus on what my job is.
I want them to be able to see a timeline of this behavior. Like, I want them to be able to look at, you know, when I was at Weber and I broke my foot and I came back and I didn't promise nothing. I just came back and did what I did. Even when they asked me after we lost the conference championship, I was like, you know, I gotta be better. You know, I'm gonna face the music. One thing I'm gonna do is face the music, and I'm gonna stand tall in whatever the situation is. From the moment I got to Weber, like even on my visit, when I first got on campus, I would always see Phil like just in the corner, kind of just looking at me. Everybody was excited for me to be there, and he was looking at me like, you're not that good. Like, I can tell he was looking at me like that because he didn't speak to me a lot. And eventually he told me that, like, you're not that good. Like, you can't shoot off screens. You know, you only go left. You're not as good as you think you are. As he got to know me as a person, he kind of was like, I think he started to take a liking to me. And once he saw like my true personality and character, I think that's where he saw potential along with like my game.
We were shooting free throws that one day, and I remember it too, and I was like honestly just kind of pissed at him and throwing the ball and didn't really want to work with him. And like, you know, he has a good personality. He's just like, you know what, I think you like me. And I'm like, no, I don't like you. You don't work hard enough for me. And he was like, no, you like me, Phil.
I was like, Phil, I think you fuck with me. Because he was always trying to be so tough. I was like, Phil, I think you fuck with me for real. And he was like, no, I don't. You need to get better and blah, 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 blah. You need to work with me. It was like that type of thing. And I was like, all right, let's work out. So we start working out. Yeah, Phil was like 25 maybe. He was a player ops, he wasn't on staff. He was working at Costco and training kids on the side to like make money. And the coaches and my teammates started to see how much better I was getting working with Phil. So then everybody just all of a sudden wanted to start working with Phil. The next season, they promoted him to be an assistant coach. And then in practice, you would just hear his voice more and more and more. And then you would see him just like going at dudes more and more and more, yelling at people, getting mad. And then he started to do that to me in workouts too. Like he'd cuss me out, be screaming. Like I said, waiting outside my class, like anything I did. You just want to chase girls and you didn't even get in the cold tub. How many shots did you make? You didn't text me to say you wanted to work out. It was like, everything, it was just like he would just own me. So eventually I'm like, bro, you crazy. Like something wrong with you. And he like, yeah, I'm crazy. I get like, he just kind of accepted like, yeah, I'm crazy, but you don't work hard enough and you soft. And he like would go at me like that. We started to like bump heads all the time because he saw it in me and he just didn't care. It was almost like, I'm gonna get it out you. He really cared about what I'm doing, and that's just what it is. Like our relationship is the same. It's the same, and it's like, I don't want nothing from him, he don't want nothing from me but to be better. Like, his coaching, I be even on him about his coaching, and I ain't never coached before. But it's just like, he know that from a player, I could tell it to him different than they probably see it in their coaches' meetings or whatever. It's also important, like, who your cupbearers are. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are the people that you listen to and the people that aren't afraid to tell you, you're not good enough, or that's not good enough, or that's not okay, or you tripping. After we got swept by New Orleans and they was playing me, you know, they was trapping me and sending so many bodies and loading up. That summer, Phil told me, like, you know, we got to play from further out. You got to get comfortable playing from further out. You got to be efficient. You got to be sharp from here. And it was all about just extending my range and extending my game to further out to give myself space and to become a threat from further away from the basket. Phil was like, you need more solutions around the rim. It's problems that people might present for me when I have the ball, like, you need more things to go to. Like, you can play with force. Like, you can play the forceful game with your quickness and your strength and all that, but you got to be able to play a longer game sometimes, a smoother game. It's about the people that's willing to correct you like that and willing to step to you like, you got to get better at this and you got to work on this and address, you know what I'm saying? Once I got to that space, like, I just started to do the work, and then it showed the following playoff season, you know? months prior, I had everybody like giving me all the respect, and then that fast, it was like, Dame ain't that good. They just got swept, you know. They were a 3 seed, you know. He can't do it in the playoffs. This, that. Up to that point, I felt like I had seen every coverage, and then they showed me something different, you know, a different level of aggression and different people running and jumping and all that. So I felt like I had some, you know, I had answers to it, you know, the latest test, and I was going into it knowing like I can't wait to see like another trap, or I can't wait to see this or that. I was ready for it. We had another year together. We had, you know, a bad experience together. So we, you know, it made us more of a group, because that was all we was talking about. Like, we can't go out like that again. Like, that group, that was the most on point that we have been consistently. Like, it was just cool. We was floating and we was getting along. We was spending time with each other. We got a good environment. We got a good thing going on. So we sat our players in the last game of the season, and Ant went out and killed Sacramento, which lined us up with OKC. And after the game, I told them, I said, after what we went through with New Orleans last year, for us to reach whatever the great things that are in store for us after that type of experience, it has to be something for us coming. But for us to reach that, like, it's gonna have to be a real test in front of us to get there. Like, you can't get an easy first round and an okay second round. Like, you're gonna need to get a good matchup in the first and really, like, fight through something. And then you're gonna have to fight through good matchups. Like, it's not gonna be easy to come out of that. So once we got OKC, I was like, this is what we need. I literally said that in the locker room when we broke the huddle. I said, this is the exact matchup we need, because it's gonna bring the best out of us.
This that meet me outside, this that family till I die. This that
Outside,
ending
knocks
for the
down
side.
the first
Running
three.
bases in
How
the
about
back.
that
This
from
that
long
trap
range
will
to
never
start a
sack.
game?
Fit it jet with Louis bags. This that happy that they mad. With your bitch I hit a flag. This that I been double stage. Put me down, I gotta save. This that help these niggas slay. Me and them don't make you brave. Built that house look like a maze. I just met another maid. Ain't fighting over shit.
Highlight for OKC. George will throw it down. It doesn't matter.
Everybody get
Went away from the
paid.
kick. Nice move. Great pass.
Aminu from the corner. Yes.
Everybody getting.
The night before, Chris Haynes was at the house. Chef B, rest his soul, was cooking. We had some mixed vegetables and some fried catfish, and Haynes was at the house. We was watching another playoff game, and we were sitting on my couch, and he was like, you know, how you think tomorrow gonna go? And I was like, I'm getting rid of their ass tomorrow. Like, this is it. I'm getting rid of them tomorrow. And he just kind of chuckled, and he was like, okay, I want to see, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. And then, like, once I got to the arena, I felt like it was gonna be like, I had a good, like, my nap felt good. I was on time, like my pregame meal. I liked what I had on, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, I felt like it's gonna be a night, you know what I'm saying?
A 21-6 run for the Blazers. Westbrook gives it to George. George will pull the mid-range, and he hits it. And the Thunder.
I remember, like, Paul George hit a jumper. We was down 2, and we called timeout, and we go for the 2-for-1. And when I see the basket now, like, I went up, going past my dude, and I went between like 2 dudes, and I was just like, I laid it up, and it was like I barely could see the basket. It was just clicking that night. And then, like, when we got the last shot, at first I was gonna call for a matchup, and then I was just like, well, like, he kind of backed off from me. I'm just gonna let the clock go down and see how long he take the step to me, and I'm about to shoot this shit from right here.
George backing up. Lillard doesn't want to pick. Dame going for the win. A three-pointer for the game.
And my brother is sitting courtside, and before it's like 8 seconds left, you see Hugh get up and start hyping the crowd up, and he yelling like, yeah, because it's like, this what we do, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's not a fake, this what we do after I hit the shot. It's like, he stood up and got excited because he knew where my head was, you know what I'm saying? it's a real thing, you know what I'm saying? When you grow up with that type of, when the standard is that, it don't change. If it's really that, and that's really what's in you, it don't change whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, or if you're in the NBA, or in a big moment, or in the first quarter. It's always gonna be there. That's why the foundation of what you built on is really important. Like, it gotta be real, because if it's not real and it's not really tested, when you get to those moments, you're gonna fold. You can't pretend you can't pretend in a real moment, you know?
Scintillating performance of these playoffs. Take you back 5 years ago. One of the biggest shots in franchise history. Lillard to send the Rockets home in the first round. And history repeats itself 5 years later. Damian Lillard does it again. Big shot taker, big shot maker.
Way more enjoyable watching it than having it happen to you, I promise you that. Wow.
Game time has arrived. Let's send it to Stephanie.
You hear?
Thankful for the struggles God had on the real. No, it wasn't only me that made me hard to kill. Relationships changed, got an awkward feel. But your strength came in my weakness with that thought revealed.
It's not important, but it's the fact that, you know, people will make a great career look like it's nothing because, like, that's just the way they see it, you know? That's how they choose to see it. That's what they want. They want to make the narrative. Nobody will have to deal with the consequences of their suggestions. They can suggest me go do this or go do that, but like, I'm comfortable when I watch boxing. I'm like, man, he should go do this. But like, it's easy for me to say it because I don't have to actually go do it. Somebody else has to actually go do it and like put themselves through that experience and deal with the consequences and whatever comes along with it. So like, at the end of the day, I don't really care what those people do because I understand that. Now, when people say it for me, these people don't really care about me, you know? Like, they really don't at the end of the day. It makes even more sense for me to stay true to what I want to do. Like, I built something great here, and like, I have ties to this community. I want to win the championship here. They haven't won it since '77. Like, that's very significant to the people here and to me to be able to bring that back. My thing with our organization is just give me a real shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give me a real shot. Let's like actually want to win it, and let's not be on the, oh, we make the playoffs every year. Like, cool, I'd rather not be there at this point if we don't have a real shot to do it. In that same mentality, if all of these things are happening and I don't win it, I can live with that. Our job is to win the championship. And I want to do everything in my power, and I want the organization to do everything in their power, put us in position to do that. You know, let's put something together and let's try to really go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because of my stance being that, you know, people don't know about the background part of it, how I've always liked Portland, how I got all my family here and my life is here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a nanny that been with my son since he was 6 months. He's 4 years old now. And been with my twins since they was younger than that, you know, since birth. And it's like all of my family kind of moving to Portland and creating lives. You know, they kids got friends here and go to school here. And, you know, my cousin is a farmer. My cousin is a chef, you know, one of the most well-known chefs in the state. And my brother has, you know, the most successful 7-on-7 football program. And he's helping all these kids go to all these schools and mentoring them. One of my other cousins is a handyman. And, you know, my mom is doing all this work with, you know, single black mothers. And my cousin is a teacher. And then you know, I got all these different people that are doing their own thing. I value those things. You know, those things are important to me. People, like you said, they make a joke about loyalty because they don't understand my loyalty. Like, my loyalty is not to just, oh, he's just being loyal to the organization. Like, yeah, you know, I'm a trailblazer, but I understand his business. And, you know, when push comes to shove, they would probably make a business decision, you know, at some point. And for me, my loyalty is with who I am as a person.
Yeah. I be in pocket most days, but I got some nutty in me. That's why I pull up in that butter Bentley. Yeah, it's that perfect balance shit that all you busters envy. And I'm still cooking shit just like my cousin Kenny. Past the stage of thinking about who was or wasn't with me. Solo mission with my kids, I know they fuck with Disney.
Portland Trailblazers all-time scoring leader, Damian Lillard.
And it's only one thing left to accomplish, and I think y'all know what that is. So
accolades across my letterman, indicative of blessings in. Touched by the man, not a reverend. All the ties that I've been severing ain't worthy to follow me in the rooms that I'm excelling in. It's nothing fake people can offer. If they get boxed in with me, I may turn into Crawford. All the shit that's on my plate, it won't fit on the saucer. I know all this shit was written and know who the author. I get low for the father, yeah, not as devout as I should be. Fall victim to the flesh like I'm a kid or a rookie. Do I get in line?